Hello, hello. Welcome, Elaine Powell. I'm so excited that you're here with us today.
Hi,
Hi, hello,
hello, everyone.
hello. So let me quickly read Elaine's introduction. Elaine Powell is an award-winning professional speaker, peak performance and storytelling coach, and founder of the Mind Speak Academy. Elaine's aim is to mentor passionate business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs, and speakers to amplify their voice, message, and story to increase revenue and achieve phenomenal impact in the world. Over the past 12 years, Elaine has spoken at over 120 events, trained 30,000 people. Yes, 30,000 probably and counting, delivered over 600 workshops in the art of peak performance and public speaking. And she has also curated a TEDx event in London for 3 years and is a Cherie Blair Foundation mentor. So welcome, Elaine. I'm so excited that you're here with us today, coming to us from the United Kingdom.
Hello, I'm super excited to be here as well. Hello, everyone. I always, if you can put your cameras on, I always say, put your cameras on, you'll be a lot more engaged. Plus, I'm in gallery view right now because yes, I want to see Alexandra, but I want to see Annette. I saw you, is it Yukiko? Just dancing away. I've got one of my favorite people here, Alan Roberts, lovely. Always Alan, I see him at least twice a week. Ashita, it'll be lovely to see you and everyone else. So yeah, I'm so excited to get into this conversation before I jump into Clubhouse.
Oh, yes, yes. And amazing. I love Clubhouse. So
oh, Nicola as well. Sorry. Hello, Nicola.
Nicola was actually so engaged yesterday that she won our prize for engagement. So she is incredible. We love Nicola. You're amazing. Keep putting those takeaways in the chat. They've been incredible. So thank you for that. You know, we as when we're presenting, we feed off of our audience as well. So thank you so much for bringing that up and making the point about the cameras, because absolutely, it does help us to feel more engaged. Definitely. So
yeah, I was just going to say, also, everyone here, I suspect, is either a speaker or they have aspirations of being a speaker. And part of the communicating with impact, I'm going to even start already, is about who you're being, that you command, that you can request in a very nice way. I'm very playful, fun. But I was like, if I'm leading and people want that safety, that they know that someone is being confident. So I say, when you run your sessions, stand in your leadership and just request. People sometimes will, they won't, but more people actually put their cameras on if you actually ask them to.
Okay, great tip for everyone for their live events, especially. Amazing, thank you. So I know you've got a ton of experience speaking and training others. So I know the title of this talk was How to Be a Kick-Ass Communicator with Impact, Confidence, and Authenticity. So were you always this confident? You know, because you definitely, you mentioned commanding present, like having a commanding, or maybe that's not the right word, but you know, having the presence. Were you always this confident, or did you have to develop that skill?
I think I think everybody is confident, everyone. And if you think of when you look at your children at 2 or 3, trust me that we are confident as human beings. We're powerful, we're resilient. Our parents would say no. And guess what? We go and ask again and we ask again until we get what we want. You know, we're vulnerable. We don't care what people think. We just cry. You know, an 8-year-old boy, Ray at some point was skipping down the road at 8 years old. And then suddenly, you know, we learn language, and for, you know, different reasons, we begin to limit ourselves. So I say, we all have confidence inside of us. You know, think of it, you're confident at home, you're confident with your friends. But I say around confidence, when we go into something that's different, that we haven't tried before, of course, we're stepping outside our comfort zone, and it is natural to feel wobbly, to feel unsure. And many times people will try something the first time and then it doesn't go the way they want and they go, oh, not doing that again. So I think I've always been the type of person that and some of you on here can relate to this, I'm like a fast twitch. I just jump in and then I just see how I can make it work. I'm not someone that I spend a lot of time inside my head trying to work it out. Is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? Because for me, that's not that it's pointless, but unless I actually do it, I'm never going to know. Inside your head is just inside your head. That is not reality. So I think I've always been the type that I bought a property at 21, I go skydiving, so that confidence to try something new. Yes. Have I always been confident as a speaker? Of course not, because I was coming outside my comfort zone.
Yeah, and I love how somebody also, Nicholas said the great phrase, stand in your leadership. And, what would you say is maybe some advice that you would give for being more confident, standing in your leadership, going for it, even though, this is a skill we have to develop, but what are some ways that we can actually do that?
Yeah, so in terms of communicating with impact, I think there's three key things which, I aim to sort of expand on in this presentation. One is yourself, and that's what we're doing right now. And then we're going to, talk about the audience, because the audience is really, in a way, they're more important than you. Sorry, they are. With regards to presenting. And the third thing is the presentation itself. If you want to be really competent, as in making an impact, you've got to deal with yourself, you have to deal with the audience, and then lastly, the actual presentation you're going to be delivering that is going to impact people as well. So with regards to yourself, what was the question again, Alexandra?
It's about how do we stand in our leadership? How do we get that? So you mentioned pushing, going confident, the confidence. How do we stand in that leadership?
Yeah, I always say that public speaking is what we call an on-the-sport court. You are only ever going to get better by doing it. And having that courage to just go for it. And, I think what stops a lot of people is, one, the fear of failure, and two, perfectionism. They want to be perfect, they want to get it right. And I'd say the first thing about failure, for me, I'm very much into the linguistics, because it's our thoughts, your thoughts, that create your whole reality. The difference between maybe some of you and some of me is just what I say about public speaking. It occurs for me very different than it may occur for you, but that's only because I joined Toastmasters, which is an amateur speaking club all around the world. And I remember I walked into the club and there was about 25 people. If you don't know Toastmasters, they're all around the world and they meet usually twice a month, and you can go free for a couple of times, but they're really there to help you grow and develop in your confidence in a small group, to practice and get feedback, which is really, really important with regards to speaking. And there was all these white-haired older men, and I sat down and they delivered a 5-minute presentation. And I'll tell you now, Alexandra, it was better than Netflix. It was better than a play. I was just like, oh my God. I was like, ooh, this is amazing. Woo! And as I sat there, I thought, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to learn how to share whatever is inside of me in a structured way that lands on an audience, that has them think a certain way, feel a certain way, and do a certain action. So if you're going to write, I am someone that says, be a writer downer, because I'm going to be sharing lots of things with you, and trust me, it's just going to get lodged in your brain and then you'll maybe forget it. So write down the little golden nuggets. Your aim is to make people think something, feel, most importantly, you want them to feel something, which you've been doing so well, Alexandra, getting us to feel happy. It's the emotions that actually move your audience. And lastly, think, feel, and do some action. So I watched them, and then I joined Toastmasters, and I was with them for about three years, and I was doing competitions. But the only way you can actually get better is you have to go and do it. So how does that relate to failure and perfectionism? Many times people won't take up opportunities or go and find opportunities, but because they're scared of failing. They're scared of rejection from the audience. They're scared of getting it wrong. They're scared of, what if it's not perfect enough? Guess what? It's all made up. Failure is made up. There's no such thing as failure. It's just linguistics. We created this word that is so heavy. The fact you go out, every time I go out and present, I'm always looking at, okay, this worked really well, fabulous, but what, this didn't work so well. What can I do to improve it? And I put that improvement in the next time. So every time I deliver, every time you deliver, there is no failure. There's always, what lesson do I need to learn that's going to take my presentation up to the next time? Because many people, I'll say, Alexandra, they get so bogged down with the failure and not doing it perfect. And I really want to encourage you that as you go and do what you're doing, whether that's public speaking or other things, that you really look at it as performance. There's a performance you did, and maybe something about the performance needs to be upgraded. Please stop making it personal about you. Each and every one of you, Tanya, Ray, Kathleen, Yukiko, hopefully I've said your name correctly. You are perfect. Seriously, you are absolutely phenomenally amazing human beings. We all are. And so don't make it a personal thing about yourself. It's just a performance. You just want to look at, what do I need to improve in my performance for the next time? And that's how you grow as a speaker. So yeah, you let go of perfectionism. I'm never perfect. I get things wrong. And guess what? I just laugh at myself. I don't make it a biggie. And you know what? The audience, which is, we'll eventually get onto that, the audience, which is the second thing, the audience is a reflection of you. If you laugh at yourself, guess what the audience does?
They'll laugh at you.
Or with you.
With you, right. Sometimes they laugh at you, I'm sure.
If people want to laugh at me, if people want to laugh with me, I'm so secure in who I am. Just as long as you're laughing is happy, I'm happy. But if you start flowering and you start sort of floundering, oh my God, the slide's not working, or I've forgotten something, the audience is going to start to feel uncomfortable. So be okay with just being how the presentation is going is how it's going, and be okay about it. So yeah, that's what I'd say about building the confidence, letting go of failure. There's no failure. You're always learning and growing, and let go of perfectionism. Because guess what? Guess who made that level of perfectionism up? You. And if you hold yourself up to such a high level of perfectionism, guess what you're doing to everybody else? You're holding them up to that level of perfectionism, and that's not fair, because you're the one that's just made it up. It's all made up because it's language.
Mm-hmm. I know we're going to get to audience in a second, but I just wanted to highlight, because you caught me on stage at a pitch event on Clubhouse. And it was one of those things where I would have never done that even a month ago. So going forward, Clubhouse helped me, and being on stages, it was another tool for practicing speaking, pitching, and getting on stage. And it was, and I got feedback. It was absolutely not perfect, but I got feedback that now the next time I go and I pitch, it's going to be better because I'm learning from that feedback. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I love that you're giving us permission to let go of perfectionism.
Yeah, please let go, because I know you said that it was not perfect. I don't know if it ever will be perfection, because we're always aspiring to grow and learn. And so as you expand as who you are as a person, your level of what you want to achieve in life is also going to expand. So I think just congratulate yourself. Just say, well done. I think we don't stop enough to really acknowledge what we're up to. All of you on a Saturday afternoon. Oh my God, you're here. Look at what it takes, what type of person it takes on a Saturday to be on Zoom learning to grow. You're phenomenal. And I really want, if you stand in that, if you, like when I present, this is the Elaine you see, whether I'm speaking to a room of 800 people or 1,000 people, or if I'm talking in a Zoom room of 22 people. I'm the same Elaine, and I don't have much things going on inside my head. It's really hard to present if you're focusing on you. Me. What if people are bored? What if they don't like what I'm saying? What if me? No, presenting is actually not about you. Right now, this is not about me. It is about you.
Thank you for saying that. Actually, in my presentation later, I'm going to be mentioning that same point. So thank you for reinforcing that, because it's so key. Because when we're so, especially for, I mentioned earlier, I had debilitating stage fright and fear of public speaking. And it was because I was too focused on myself and not on the impact I was making on my audience. So thank you for that. And speaking of making the impact, I know that we want to communicate to make a bigger impact. What are a few tips you can share on how to increase your ability to persuade and influence your audience? I think this is a really, really good one.
Yeah. So once again, I think it's same as in business. People will do business and people will follow you when they know, like, and trust you. And I think it really starts always. I'm a very inside out person. I'll give you a few pointers about what to put in your presentation, but if the person standing in front of the audience hasn't spent that time developing themselves, then you give off energy consciously and unconsciously. People are going to feel, when you walk in a room and you can just, or you meet someone, you can just feel their energy and you think, oh, I'm not sure if I like that energy. Or you've been around somebody and by the end of that time you spent with them, they've like sucked your energy dry. You're like, I need to go and sleep. And then there's someone that you've been around and by the end of it, like I know by the end of this summit today, you are going to be on such a high because of all the energy. So presenting is an energy exchange. So that's why it's so important to be on summits like this. It's energy vampires. Yeah, it's so important to work on your inner self, because there's so much we hold on to in terms of our narrative about ourselves, our beliefs. Beliefs such as, oh, public speaking is scary, I can't do it, I'm going to freeze. They're just beliefs. And beliefs are all made up. And I know we were going to speak about the audience. I just want to say, because this is so important, when you're standing in front of people, you want to entertain beliefs that actually expand you versus diminish you. Like just ask yourself right now, or during a quiet time, is my internal dialogue, am I saying things, or am I entertaining things inside of me that actually diminish me, who I truly am, or do they expand me? So our job is to be self-aware so you can self-correct. If you're not self-aware, you're going to be in that autopilot of something that happened when you presented, at school, and you said, I'm never going to do that again. And you're just living into it again and again and again. So part of being in front of an audience is that you've worked on yourself so much that you disappear. That it's not about you. It's about the how to be really impactful with an audience is that when you're standing in front of them, they really get that you're not coming from here. Guess where you're coming from?
The heart.
Coming from the heart. It's a different space of presenting, and not many people speak about this speaking, and I get that. And my company is called Mind Speak. I help people get past this so that they can stand in power and speak. But no, not many people speak about the soul, the heart, and the spiritual side of public speaking. And when you get into the professional realm of speaking, you cannot go from here. What's my next slide? What do I have to say next? Hannah, you can't be up here. You've got to just be presenting, not just from the heart space. And this might be freak out some of you as well, because you might be like, what is she talking about? I'm a channel. I'm tapped into not just me. This is limited system. You want to be tapped in from here, like the deeper part of you, that is the knowledge of the universe, that's the knowledge of the wisdom, so that you can just be a channel to say what you need to say. When you, like, I come up with the most amazing thing. I was like, whoa, where did that come from? I'm like, thanks. You gave me that to say. Like I will have I know where I'm going, but I'm open enough to be really just free that I can connect with the audience. They can feel my heart space. They can feel I'm coming from my heart and that I'm not strategizing inside my head. And that's what an audience wants. They want connection. And they can't have it if you're thinking about yourself or you're thinking about what's my next point versus connecting with them.
Mm. And we did have a question here, if you want to add to that. Have any suggestions for tapping into that heart space?
Yeah, things like meditation, getting quiet. I usually clear myself before I speak.
Mm.
Do you want to know what clearing looks like? Raise your hand if you want to know what clearing looks like in the reactions. Just put your hand. Oh, because I can't see all of you on the screen. Raise your hand.
We had several hands up, I saw.
Very good, very good. Why do I do that? Because look, I know it's an interview, but I'm still getting audience interaction. Have you noticed that I'm still, even though I'm talking to Alexandra, I'm still bringing you, the audience, in every few minutes. I'm doing rhetorical questions. I'm having you. That's what you need to do when you're presenting. It can't just be about me and Alexandra because you're on this call with us as well. I have to bring you in so you feel engaged. So the question, remind me the question again.
Suggestions for tapping into that heart space.
Oh, yeah. I clear myself. See, look, I forgot, and I'm just fine with asking Alexandra again. I'm not, oh, what does it look like? I forgot. Oh, no, be okay with it. So I clear myself. You don't want to walk into the space with, I'm nervous. What if this happens? What if I forget? What if this? Because you're going to present like it's who you're being will get the result. So if you're being nervous, if you're being scared, that's how you're going to react. That's how you're going to deliver from that space. You never want to deliver it. So I just have a conversation. I really get present to how am I feeling? Nervous, fearful, scared, whatever. Frustrated for something that happened earlier. You want to take that, push it to the side, take a deep breath and go, okay, how would I love to be? Because we're human beings, not human doings. We're being resigned, happy, cynical, glad, joyful. That we're always being something. So I focus on how do I want to be when I'm presenting? I want to be relaxed. Your body will suddenly be relaxed. I want to be calm. Your body will be calm because it knows how to be that way. And you're sending a signal through language for a way for you to be. My go-to is playful. I like being playful. I like being fun because I'm highly energized. And so I focus on that way of being when I'm presenting. And it's not what you're doing that gets the results. It's who you're being. That is a big writer downer. It's who you're being gets the results, not what you're doing. Because if you're being angry, you're going to take actions in line with being angry. If you're being nervous, you're going to take actions in line with being nervous versus if you're being bold, guess what? As you can see, you're going to take actions in line with being bold. So, to round this off with regards to that, yes, clear yourself, meditate, breath, so important.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. And I know that we also talked about authenticity in the title. Can you just share a little bit about how we can tap into more authenticity in our talks or when we're speaking?
Yeah, for me, it's just letting go of that ego. It's letting go of trying to be something. I remember I was coached once during a competition with Toastmasters, and he's like, Elaine, you don't have enough gravitas. And I was like, okay. So I tried to have gravitas, poise, and it just wasn't me. I just felt so uncomfortable. And I gave myself permission to be Elaine. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. I always had plasters on my knees. I was running around. This is me. So I give myself permission to be me. Give yourself permission to be yourself. And if you can, let me rephrase that. Be your best self. Because maybe Annette, she's being herself at 8 o'clock in the morning, but with the kids running around, she's like, listen, no, I'm being myself, but you don't want that self. So be your best self. That self that shows up when you're drinking a glass of wine, you've got your friends around you, you're just in your element. Be that person. And when you're presenting online as well, your energy level has got to go up. It really has to go up. It's different virtual than it is live.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know that we are almost up with our time. It went by so quickly. So before I ask the last short question and share Elaine's gift, I would love for you all to pour love and gratitude into the chat. Let us know what you loved about, what were the highlights that you took away from our conversation. And while you guys do that, I want to share your free gift to our audience is the Craft Your Story free workbook. And we'll drop a link in the chat as well for that. But you want to share briefly about what that is?
Yes, yeah, the brand story workbook. So it's how to craft your story. And I didn't actually even have time to get onto the presentation, but a really quick takeaway: an engaging presentation has opening questions for the audience to relate to. You have a story, and that's where a brand story comes in. A brand story is, this is why I do what I do. It takes people through a journey that they can see, the audience has to see themselves in it. It's not just about you, it's about the audience. And then you give them 3 key elements, 3 key things to take away inside your maybe hour-long presentation, and a call to action. So that's basically a presentation. But trust me, if you've worked on yourself, if you're really, you create who the audience, like I've created how I see you, which is extraordinary giants. That's how you need to see an audience member. They are not small. They don't need your help. You don't need my help. You are giants in your own right. That's how I relate to you. So that's what I want to say. And the brand story is just how to craft a story, a brand story.
Amazing. You're getting a lot of comments in the chat, a lot of appreciation. And just one final question, and that is, what advice would you give your younger self?
Woo, that's a big question, because it's not just about presenting. I think I would give my younger self the advice that get quiet, listen to my internal guide, and know that life loves me. Life is always working for us, not against us, and that everything that happens is for my greater good, for your greater good, for you to learn, for you to grow, for you to expand, to enjoy the challenge, because in that stretch you're going to grow. And don't resist it. Just say thank you for teaching me what I need to learn in order to expand my life, and flow. I'm going to say a nursery rhyme to end it for you, because I know you're looking at time. Row, row, row your boat. So your dream, whatever that is, you go with that gently down the stream. Stop holding on to the sides of the banks. Stop trying to swim upstream. Trust life is taking you down the right path. Even if it doesn't feel like it does, it's taking you down the right path, gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Merry happiness is a choice. You choose to be happy. You choose to be unmessable with. And then guess what? Life is but a dream.
Oh, I love that, Elaine. Thank you so much. One last kind of tiny little question. Are you standing while you're doing your presentation?
Yeah, of course.
So do I.
I saw that.
I can't even not stand. I actually have a chair. I haven't used it. So I just feel like our energy is just so, more expansive. We're talking about feeling expanded. So thank you so much. This has been amazing. Our time went by so quickly. I appreciate you. Crush it on Clubhouse. I know you will. And I hope to have you on again in a future event of ours.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone for being here. I've loved your energy. I felt your energy in this room. Loved, and Nancy, nice to see
for you.
And Kerry, new people who come off camera. Thank you so much. And thank you, Alexandra, for just holding this awesome summit to make a huge difference to everyone that here and who listen to the recording.
Thank you. Big hearts to Elaine, everyone. And thank you. For more help growing your visibility and monetizing your brand, go to alexanderfigueredo.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you.